Approximately 1 year ago, I was sitting in Murdoch University warming up for OH, and all of a sudden, I was averaging 18 to 19 when I usually average 22. And with this sudden drop came expectations. I had already competed in a round of OH before, getting a decent PR average of 20.47, beating my previous PR by 0.03. Surely, in finals, I could pull off a 19 average, right? My hands felt terrible and tired from the 2-day competition, and I performed terribly with a 21.51 average. And with newfound motivation, I practiced. Turns out I was just having a good day, but I still dropped my global out of nowhere to around 20 to 21. But soon I realised there were no OH comps until half a year later. Australian Nationals. I was on track to make it to round 2, giving me 2 chances to finally get a good average. OH round 1. All I wanted was a sub 20 average. Like, last time I competed in OH was like 6 months ago. And on that day I was averaging really well. I was averaging 18, and then by that time I was like way too tired and I just didn't get a good average. This time I was determined to finally get a PR. It was almost like 3 PRs because I was averaging like 18 seconds like at home consistently leading up to then. Also wanted to make the next round, and I completely shit the bed. Like, even a 15 single, which is like pretty good, like I wasn't even happy with that. Ended up with like a 21 average or something. I wasn't really disappointed, but angry. Like, that average just got me really mad. Don't worry, another OH comp is in 2 weeks. Then I forgot to register. I remember jumping out of my bed and looking at the time, only to realise I missed Rego by 43 minutes. That was pretty funny. There was another drought. Another 5 months passed before another OH comp. Oceanics. By now, I had well and truly started averaging 18, including my inconsistencies. And you know how inconsistent I can be. And I succeeded. I managed to get myself a 17.97 PR average. Sub 18, which I was very happy about, on top of finally just beating my PR. And unlike Nats, this time I made it to round 2. So I had another chance to break it again, even though I was perfectly fine with it not happening. Somehow, I managed to surprise myself with a PLL skip, and a PR single of 14.03 seconds, smashing it by about 1.5 seconds. And that's how I thought the story would end. 1 week after Oceanics, I went on the 3-week holiday, having done not much practice at all. I had 2 competitions after my holiday, one literally the day I land, and one just 1 week afterwards, with both having very generic events, meaning my PR streak of 36 was in trouble. Like JPerm said,
the issue is I didn't practice for months. And what happens when you don't practice one-handed for months is I think like your muscles get worse for it.
But that's okay. I had 1 week to regain my skill, since OH is in the second comp. Nope. 2 days before the comp, I tried squeezing in an OH session in my hotel room, but it was no use. It was just like way too uncomfortable, and I started averaging like 23. I was screwed. My flight landed at 12, got out of the airport at 1, arrived home at 2, and slept at 3. I had to wake up at 7:30 to make it to the comp on time. Ended up being slightly late, but I was in group 3 for the first event, so that's okay. First was 3x3 with a decently beatable PR average, but I could never perform in comp for some reason, and today was no different. Next was Scoop, something I don't practice, but I could very well clutch up a PR average without any silliness. And I nearly did, but not quite. The pressure was on. Then 3 blind. Don't practice either, just smash my PR at Oceanics. Good first solve, but memo issues on the next 2. Somehow got a mean, but not a good one. After lunch was OH. Did a few solves in the morning, not looking too good. I decided to turn more slowly and precisely since I was out of practice and not very good at turning. And somehow, it worked, and solve 1 was a 15.23, PR2. By the way, incredible camera work from me. You could see so much of the cube. I continued the same turning style for solve 2 and ended up being another good solve, 16.31. For some reason, I just started popping off, and my third solve was 15.90. I only needed a 21.71 to tie my PR average, and what happened next was hilarious. F2L done sub 7 saw this and take 2 seconds to recognize, and then just twist the corners. And somehow, that was a 13.44 PR, by over half a second. This last solve is pretty irrelevant, but still a pretty good one, 17.61. This gives an average of 15.81, overall PB3 at the time. Though my at-home averages are pretty bad, this average is still insane, and with barely any sleep and no practice. Now, the other rounds are pretty relevant for the story, but I just included them for dramatic effect. So, we continue. 2x2, another event I stopped practicing, and somehow I wasn't rusty at all, and actually got a good average. A bit of a choke, and should have been PR. Still heartbroken about the 2.33 choke. Now, the other rounds are like genuinely irrelevant, but I will talk about OH and 3x3 finals. At this point, my hands were like really tired from just competing all day, so I wasn't really expecting much. I'd also developed this routine where basically I just like stretched my left fingers. I don't think it physically does anything, but psychologically it helps quite a bit. Started off with another good solve, 14.76 PR3. Then a bad start into a cube drop and into more like dumb stuff. But then this third solve, nothing too special. Good last layer, soon into A perm, in which I hesitated because I thought it was a U perm. Somehow, 13.17, PR single again. Overall, horrible cases give me a 19, and then a pretty regular to solve to end it off, a 16. I guess this is a slight choke with the counting 19, but a 17.07 average with tired hands, which would have also smashed my PR if round 1 didn't happen. I'm going to quickly dust over 3x3 finals. As usual, a bad start with an 11, and then a 10. But all of a sudden, I just started solving well and get 2 8s. After that, I was like, if I do an Albany and count 2 8s and a bad time, I'm going to be so pissed. But luckily, I got an 11. Somehow getting a sub 10 average, 9.98. And also, somehow only my 10th ever sub 10 average. I feel like I have way more. I definitely should have way more. Anyways, what lesson do we learn here? Don't practice, because you don't perform well until you stop. But seriously, I don't know what happened that day. I just started solving like really well for OH, and that's kind of what this video is about. And overall, I'm just really happy that my PR streak is not dead at 37 now, and also the fact that I just like popped off, like considering all like the circumstances. I haven't really been able to practice since then because I've been grinding for Albany, which is the comp like the week after, which I'm actually leaving for tomorrow. And like yeah, more generic events. Hopefully, my PR streak will be at 38 in 2 days. Goodbye.